I'm Alex Michelson. This week, the issue is gun control.
California leads this national conversation.
California Governor Gavin Newsom wants to expedite 12 gun safety bills. What's the best path forward? Congresswoman Karen Bass is here in studio to talk about that, police reform, and her run for LA mayor. Plus, Malia Cohen is with us to talk about her run for California Controller. And Democrat Mark Levine talks about his run for insurance commissioner against the incumbent Democrat. All that, as the issue is, starts right now.
Broadcasting across California, you're watching The Issue Is.
And welcome to The Issue Is. I'm Alex Michelson. One story dominated our collective consciousness this week: the Texas school shooting. As we look at the innocent faces of those lost, is there anything we can do to prevent this from happening again? Since the Newtown shooting a decade ago, there have been 3,500 mass shootings in the U.S. In the last decade, Republicans in the U.S. Senate have been unwilling to do anything significant when it comes to gun control. This week, I spoke with California's U.S. Senator Alex Padilla.
We as parents shouldn't have to worry about their safety. And my God, Republican members of the Senate, wake up.
In California, the Democrats have such large majorities in Sacramento, they don't need Republican support to pass more gun control.
California leads this national conversation. When California moves, other states move in the same direction.
Governor Newsom wants to expedite the passing of 12 gun control bills that he's vowing to sign by this summer. The governor of Texas says despite California's gun control measures, there's still plenty of mass shootings here.
There are real gun laws in California. People who think that, well, maybe if we could just implement tougher gun laws, it's going to solve it. Chicago and LA and New York disprove that thesis.
Those states like California that have the most progressive policies in restricting the abuse and proliferation of guns have consistently outperformed other states in terms of gun murder rates and gun death rates.
California's most controversial new potential gun law is in a way a response to the U.S. Supreme Court allowing a Texas abortion law to go forward. Here's what I mean. In Texas, once a fetal heartbeat can be detected, private citizens have the right to sue people responsible for abortions. In California, the governor wants to pass a law which allows private citizens to sue the manufacturers and distributors of illegal ghost guns. What's the best step forward? With us this week is Karen Bass. She currently is a member of Congress. She once served as the Speaker of the California Assembly. And of course, right now, she's running for mayor of Los Angeles. Congresswoman Bass, welcome back to The Issue. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me on.
So you've seen this from the state, federal, and now local level. What is the one most important thing that can be done to prevent something like this from happening
Well,
again?
first of all, Governor Abbott made the case for national gun laws. So yes, we have great gun laws here in California, but until we address this problem nationally, it's very difficult for California to get a handle on it. Now, I support 100% the governor passing legislation that will allow individuals to sue the gun manufacturers, because we need to be clear as to who really controls the NRA. It's the gun manufacturers. Even gun owners support gun control.
You know, a lot of Republicans say we need to do something about mental health. This is a mental health issue. Is there a bipartisan consensus on mental health, though? Is there something that could be done? Because clearly guns are a problem, but is it possible mental health is also a problem?
You know, it is so disingenuous for them to say that, because I would embrace it 100% if they were actually willing to do something on mental health. They say that every time as a diversion, but will not put $1 into mental health resources so that we really can have a decent mental health system in our country. We clearly don't. That is absolutely needed, but that is a very disingenuous argument from them.
Let's talk about the issue of policing as well. This was the 2-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder this week. You, of course, were the author of the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act in the House. It passed twice in the House, did not get Republican votes in the Senate. So this week you were at the White House. Let's show some video of this. You were on hand with the president as he signed a series of executive actions to require federal law enforcement agencies to follow much of what you wanted in that bill. You see right there is George Floyd's daughter. So here's some of those new rules. Creates a national police accountability database, ban chokeholds and carotid restraints unless deadly force is authorized, and requires the adoption of body-worn cameras. What's your big takeaway from that experience of getting that done?
Well, you know what? I'm very thankful for the president for stepping up and doing this. But, you know, I think of my former colleague, John Lewis, who always said, find a way out of no way. So if you can't get something done legislatively, then try another way. Senator Booker and I, as you mentioned, we passed it out of the House. I did my job, but it stalled in the Senate. And we know that the president has even had difficulty getting bills out of the Senate. So when we reached a wall, Senator Booker and I went to the White House and we asked the administration, please take our bill and please do as much as you can with an executive order. So the senator and I have worked with the White House over the last few months, and it was really nice to be able to go to the White House and watch the president sign that. Of course, it was bittersweet because it was also the anniversary of his murder. But to be there with his family, and they were gratified that finally something was being done.
Of course, that is your day job right now. Let's
Exactly.
talk about the job you want to do next, which is LA mayor. You're in the
Yes.
midst of running against Rick Caruso, and this is a statewide show for people that live in the LA market. They've probably seen a Rick Caruso ad, maybe.
I don't know how they
possibly.
could have avoided it.
They're running over and over and over and over and over again. The biggest spend ever in the history of the city.
Yes.
More money spent by Rick Caruso than any other candidate in the entire country in this race. Over $20 million. A lot of it are positive ads about him, but there are plenty of negative ads about you. Some of them from his campaign, others from independent expenditures. You've also got an independent expenditure that you're not connected to that's running negative ads
Right.
against him. What is it like to have that happen to you, to be running against somebody spending that much money?
Well, I mean, I think it shows a flaw in our democracy, in the sense that if you do have independent wealth, you don't have any accountability at all. You can put as much money into the campaign as you want. If you run a normal race like I do, then I have to account for and be accountable for every single dollar. So to see someone spend that kind of money, I just think about, because it's well over $30 million, I just think about how many people could be housed with that amount of money. I just think about all of the good that could be done with that amount of money.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about that issue in particular, housing,
Sure.
homelessness. We've done deep dives with you on that issue and with him. We did a whole debate on it, and I don't want to get into all of that right now. But what is the most fundamental difference in terms of homelessness if you're in charge versus if he's in charge?
Well, I think I believe in a whole of government approach. I believe that we cannot end this problem until we bring the federal government, state, county, and city government to bear. And I have those deep relationships. I'm working right now with the HUD department, the Housing and Urban Development, and I'm hoping that the Secretary of HUD will come out soon and that we can get some relief. You know, HUD sent us 3,000 vouchers. We're only able to use 500 because of restrictions in the vouchers. So I'm working right now to get those restrictions lifted. To me, it's not about what I'm going to do if I have the honor of being mayor. It's about how I'm going to use my power and position right now as a member of Congress to address this issue.
And in terms of the race, bigger picture, because we've got some video of this unity rally that you held this week at Dodger Stadium. Big cross-section of leaders from around Southern California all coming out to support you. Here's that. You see Mike Fuhr, who was running in the race, and Antonio Villaraigosa, the former mayor, all talking about you. Philosophically, it seems like this race really comes down to a difference in what each of you and Caruso, think the job actually is, and how to do the job itself. How do you see the philosophical difference between the two of you?
Well, first of all, the point of that unity conference was to say, building a coalition is not so we all feel good. It's not a namsy-pamsy thing. It's a way you marshal your resources. And we need to bring everything to bear in this city to address the problems that we face. And it's what I've been doing in terms of building coalitions to solve very difficult problems for many, many, many years. I do have experience governing. He has experience running a corporation. Those are different types of experiences. And so I think that what we need to do in order to address our problems is we need to mobilize and marshal all of the talent, all of the skills, the knowledge that we have in this city in order to address problems. It's not about kumbaya. It's about getting to work.
I mean, is it fair to say that the difference is you sort of think that the way we fix all this is we got to bring people together and find a way together to make this work, and he's saying that doesn't work. We need an executive. Somebody needs to be in charge, and somebody needs to be held accountable.
Oh, I agree with him 100%. This is about decisive leadership, absolutely. Again, building coalitions is not about having a party and feeling good. It's marshaling resources that then a leader can lead on. And so I think that that is absolutely true. The difference is that this is not an autocracy. This is a democracy. And so we need a decisive leader, but the decisive leader has to work with the city council. You can't disparage the people that you're going to be working with. You have to figure out, I mean, one of our structural problems is the city and the county doesn't work together. I have deep relationships in both of those areas, and we have to stop saying the city builds, the county provides services. We have to do both at the same time. The people in those tents need to be housed, but they also need services at the same time.
You've seen some of the negative ads against you. One of them is saying that you're not there in Congress for the votes.
I know.
Other things. What is your response to that?
Well, I mean, I think that Rick Caruso has spent millions of dollars to raise his poll numbers because people didn't know who he was. After those millions of dollars, now we're running neck and neck. If he's going to beat me, he has to drag me down, and so the negative ads are about dragging me down. And unfortunately, in this post-Trump world, it's not really post-Trump world, we're still suffering from Trump, but what has happened is that people have no problem now doing ads and saying things that are just absolutely untrue or to distort, you know, what is true. I think what people know about me is that I work 7 days a week and that I will find a way out of no way. And I think an example of that is what you saw 2 days ago at the White House. I don't think that the president would be talking about the contribution that I made toward this effort if I didn't show up to work.
Let's talk about the rules of this race, right? Because it's kind of confusing because
it is.
There's the California primary for the statewide offices, which means top two advance no matter what.
Right.
For the city, if somebody gets 50% plus one on June 7th, they become the mayor. And it's possible that you could do that. It's possible that he could do that.
Right.
Based off of the polling that you're seeing right now, do you think that's a realistic possibility for either of you to hit that 50%? No,
I don't. No, that's not what the polls are showing now. The polls are showing us being neck and neck and neither side being able to reach 50.1. But I will tell you that I'm going to do everything I can to get there in the next few days, because one thing about politics, it might be just a little over 10 days before the election, but in the world of politics, that's like a year. Anything can happen. And so we have hundreds of people out walking, calling, doing phones, texting messages, doing whatever we can to turn out our vote.
All right. We always like to have a little fun on this show, right? So this time we're going to play personal issues, which you've played before. But we're going to do LA edition. So we've got the audio to I Love LA, and this is some of your favorites in LA. Okay, ready? What's your favorite LA tourist attraction?
My favorite tourist attraction is definitely the beach, no question. Going down to Venice and Santa Monica Beach.
Favorite LA restaurant?
Favorite LA restaurant? Mai Tai.
Favorite LA sports team?
Dodgers.
Okay, I'd say Lakers, but that's me. You picked one, though, Dodgers. Favorite LA music venue?
Well, it used to be called the Staples Center. Now it's CryptoCon.
Who is your favorite LA politician of all time?
My favorite LA politician of all time? How about Mayor Villaraigosa?
Oh, there you go. Who's endorsing you, of course. Rick Caruso is going to be here next week, and we'll hear from him. But I'll say to you what I will also say to him. Thank you so much for your kindness towards me and towards our show, and whatever happens on June 7th. We appreciate your integrity and your class and your kindness.
Oh, you are very, very welcome. And by the way, the same goes between the two of us.
Oh, thank you very much. We always like to end with music. So this week we're going to end with the Temptations. And this is, are you getting ready for June 7th?
Ready.
I know you're ready. So if you want to show off those moves as we go to break, now's your chance to dance. We'll be right back with Malia Cohen, Congresswoman Karen Bass. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Here's the song.
The controller needs to be an independent fiscal watchdog for our state.
Recently, we featured the Republican-endorsed candidate for California Controller, Lanhee Chen. This week, we're featuring the Democrats-endorsed candidate. Malia Cohen is a member of the State Board of Equalization and a former San Francisco supervisor. Malia Cohen, welcome to The Issue Is for the very first time. Great to have you on.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right, so let's talk about this job, which is one that not a lot of people maybe know that much about. Why does controller matter, and why should people pick you?
When we're talking about the state controller's position, I describe it in a very simple way. The treasurer brings the money in to state government, and the controller is responsible for the disbursement of those dollars. So the controller, she writes the checks and they go out. And so the controller's function is important because you have the ability to call an audit and find out where money's being spent, how much it's being spent, are we spending it wisely? And that is where I think Californians care about the controller's position, because they see the affordability crisis, they see the homelessness, and they are wondering, hey, I'm spending my tax dollars, but where are they going?
So the usually progressive LA Times editorial board actually endorsed Republican Lonnie Chen for this role. Here's what they said. Among the strong field, we believe that Chen is the best choice for this position. Why? Because he's a sharp thinker with experience analyzing large financial systems, and because the controller should be as independent from the party as possible. So why are the LA Times wrong on that? Basically saying that it'd be good to have somebody outside of the Democratic Party to check the Democratic Party.
That's a great question, and you'd have to ask the editorial board for the Los Angeles Times. I don't know how their logic and their reasoning really adds up. I think what we do know is that California is the leader on many fronts. And here we are talking about a rifles ban and assault rifle ban for manufacturers. We're talking about reproductive rights. I mean, these are all relevant, timely issues, policy issues, and discussions that we're having. And so we don't know where Lonnie Chen is on any of these particular issues. I wonder if he will flip-flop. He'll say one thing when he's not in office and say another when he gets into office, much like what we see on a national scene. Also, the other thing that I think the LA Times misses is the fact that Lonnie Chen has never been elected and has never held the confidence of any constituency at all. So it is very generous of them to believe that he can step up to do it. It's one thing to be a staffer. It's one thing to work at a think tank. And I think it's another opportunity, another thing to be actually in the job, doing the work, that of which what I've been doing, Alex. I mean, I've been elected in office for about 12, almost 13 years. I represent the broadest cross section that is representative for the state of California: agricultural lands, suburban, urban, rural parts of the state of California. And no other candidate can say that they represent and can connect with those issues like I can.
All right, well, we play a game on this show called Personal Issues, where you get a chance to have a little bit of fun. This is 30 seconds to learn your favorites. You ready to go?
Got it.
Okay, what is your favorite TV show?
That's my favorite TV show. Gosh, I don't really watch that much television, so
Okay, it's going to be The Issue Is. Favorite book?
My favorite book is, it's kind of an old one. It's just How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Ah, good one. Favorite band or musician?
I would have to be an old-time favorite, standard classic, and that's Michael Jackson.
Ah, I love that. And what is your favorite song?
Can't Stop Till You Get Enough.
Okay, that is a good one, but I also heard that you're a big fan of Alicia Keys. And
I love her.
Called This Girl Is on Fire, which may be representative of your race, I don't know. But we like to dance on this show. So as we go to break, here's your chance to show off your moves to Alicia Keys. Okay. Malia Cohen, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
The last day to vote in the California primary is June 7th, and one of the most interesting statewide races is one few people usually pay attention to, that of insurance commissioner.
Buenos dias, California Democrats!
It could be that the only way to beat a Democrat statewide in California is with another Democrat.
Voters are looking for a choice. I'm really proud to offer that to them.
Democratic Assemblyman Mark Levine is challenging Ricardo Lara the state's incumbent Democratic insurance commissioner.
I'm Mark Levine.
Levine is endorsed by the San Francisco Chronicle, the Mercury News, and the LA Times.
It's humbling that after 10 years in the legislature, every newspaper in the state has endorsed my campaign for insurance commissioner.
All of the papers blasting Laura's record on ethics. From the Sacramento Bee, California needs an insurance commissioner with ethics. This candidate could restore trust. From the Mercury News, California needs consumer protection, not partying, dining, and cozying up with industry lobbyists and executives.
Ricardo Lara, in fact, has been caught taking money from insurance companies that he then helped by overruling his own staff. So he's there for the wrong reasons.
Lara did not agree to an interview with us, despite our repeated invites to his campaign. Lara is backed by the California Democratic Party, Senator Alex Padilla, and Governor Gavin Newsom.
People endorsed him before I decided to get in this race, but no one's endorsed him since I got in this race.
But they are still endorsing him. Up next, a special honor for a very special person.
I could make meaning even out of my ALS. And together, we could make meaning out of our time on Earth.
That's the extraordinary political activist Adi Barkan, who is living with ALS. Our profile of him was honored this week by the Golden Mikes and the LA Press Club. The LA Press Club also honoring our 3 profiles of California governors last year: Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jerry Brown, and Gavin Newsom. We thank them for that. We encourage you to check out a special documentary about homelessness that our team worked on for months. Search for Lost Angeles on YouTube to check it out. We end this week with another look at the innocent victims of this week's shooting. They deserve better than this. Clearly, thoughts and prayers are not enough.